Hey Hollywood Task, and welcome back to the channel. What we're about to dive into today isn't just another scandal, not just another bit of gossip about Kody and Robyn Brown. This is the story of the financial apocalypse that's been quietly unfolding behind the scenes, an implosion that's been years in the making, fueled by pride, control, and a desperate attempt to maintain an illusion long after the camera stopped rolling. It all begins with the dream that turned into a nightmare: Coyote Pass. The dusty, barren land in Flagstaff that was supposed to symbolize unity became the tombstone for the Brown family empire. Kody sold it as a promise, a place where all 4 wives and their children would live side by side, one big, happy, plural family. But from the moment they bought that land, something changed. The cracks that were already forming in Kody's relationships deepened, and every decision he made seemed to push his wives further away. Christine was the first to walk away, tired of being treated like an afterthought. Janelle followed, realizing that her independence was never something Kody could tolerate. Mary, loyal to the end, clung to the hope that someday things would change. But that hope withered as she watched Kody's affection and attention funnel entirely toward one person: Robyn. And now, as the family has scattered, Kody and Robyn are left standing in the ruins, quite literally, of everything they built. The other wives have moved on. Christine has remarried, found real happiness, and reclaimed her sense of self. Janelle is rebuilding, focusing on her children and her own life. Mary is carving her own path, finally free from the emotional prison that bound her for decades. But Kody and Robyn? They're trapped. The house of cards they built is collapsing, and there's no one left to hold it up. The land at Coyote Pass is still tied up in multiple names, split across legal agreements that make it almost impossible to sell or refinance. The dream of building 4 homes there has vanished, replaced by a cold financial reality: property taxes, maintenance, and mounting debt. For years, Kody's image as the confident patriarch masked a growing financial storm. TLC money once flowed freely, but as the ratings dipped and the family fractured, so did the checks. Kody and Robyn's spending didn't slow down. They doubled down, trying to hold on to their status. Their luxury house, their lifestyle, their need to appear unbothered, it all came at a cost. And now the numbers don't lie. The couple has been quietly juggling debts, moving money between LLCs, and doing everything possible to keep the illusion alive. But those who have followed the family closely know that it's all starting to unravel. Whispers of unpaid taxes, liens, and desperate refinancing attempts are starting to surface. This isn't just about money. It's about power, control, and the desperate need to preserve a hierarchy that no longer exists. Kody's authority has crumbled. His spiritual leadership means nothing without followers, and his wives have walked away. All he has left is Robyn, and even that partnership now looks strained under the pressure of financial ruin. Behind closed doors, the tension is thick. Robyn, who once claimed she never wanted to be the only wife, now carries the full weight of being Kody's last believer. The house she once called a dream has become a gilded cage, filled with fear, resentment, and the ghost of a family that used to be. For years, Kody believed he was building a kingdom. In truth, he was building a ticking time bomb. Every decision he made, every dollar spent, every favor asked, every manipulation has come due. And now the empire is collapsing from the inside out. The other wives have found freedom. They've rebuilt their lives without him, and in doing so, they've exposed the truth: that Kody's vision of family was never about love or unity. It was about control. And when that control slipped away, so did everything else. As the dust settles on Coyote Pass, what remains isn't a family. It's a legacy of broken promises, financial ruin, and one man's refusal to admit defeat. Kody may still talk about destiny, about faith, about loyalty, but the truth is, his empire has already fallen. The patriarch who once had 4 wives, 18 children, and a television empire is now left with nothing but a plot of Arizona dirt and the echoes of what could have been. And for the rest of the family, that's poetic justice. Because in the end, Kody Brown didn't just lose his wives. He lost the very thing he claimed to be building all along: a family. Hey Hollywood Task, and welcome back to the channel. Today's story isn't just another glimpse into the Brown family chaos. It's the beginning of the end. What started as a dream of unity, love, and faith has now crumbled into isolation, regret, and financial disaster. For years, Kody Brown sold his family on a vision, a shared dream of living together in harmony on one piece of land, a place called Coyote Pass, It was supposed to be a symbol of everything he claimed to stand for: strength, leadership, and the promise of eternal family. But as we now know, it was never about unity. It was about control. From the moment Kody led his family to Flagstaff, everything began to fall apart. The wives were hesitant, the kids were struggling, and the financial strain was immediate. The dream home plans kept changing, the money kept disappearing, and Kody's temper became the only constant. Christine saw it first. She realized that the dream wasn't real, that she was living in a system built to serve one man's ego, not a family's happiness. So she walked away. Janelle followed, driven by her independence and her desire to build something real for her children. Mary stayed, clinging to loyalty long after love had faded. And in the end, all roads led to Robyn, the one person Kody never stopped protecting, never stopped favoring, no matter who got hurt in the process. Now, with the other wives gone, Kody and Robyn are standing alone on the ashes of everything they built. The family that once filled TV screens with laughter, chaos, and faith has splintered beyond repair. And beneath it all lies the one thing Kody can't outrun anymore: the truth about his financial empire. That barren Arizona land, Coyote Pass, isn't a family dream anymore. It's a ticking time bomb. The property is still divided between the wives, tangled in legal paperwork, tax burdens, and unpaid dues. What was once promised as a legacy has turned into a liability. Kody wanted power, but power doesn't build homes. It doesn't pay property taxes. And it doesn't hold a family together when trust is gone. What he's left with now isn't a thriving family. It's an empire collapsing under the weight of pride, ego, and a desperate need to maintain an image that no longer exists. Behind the scenes, things are far worse than the cameras ever showed. Financial documents, quiet debts, and hidden LLCs paint a picture of two people, Kody and Robyn, fighting to hold on to something that's already gone. They're living in the aftermath of their own creation, surrounded by bills, resentment, and silence. And as the dust settles over Coyote Pass, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. The kingdom Kody tried to build was never real. It was a mirage, and now the mirage has disappeared. As the dream of Coyote Pass fades, the truth about Kody and Robyn's situation is becoming impossible to ignore. What once looked like confidence is now desperation. The family that built their lives on faith and togetherness is gone, and all that's left is a house full of tension and unpaid bills. Kody used to talk about legacy, about creating something lasting for his children and grandchildren. But the legacy he's leaving behind is debt, division, and distrust. Every decision he made in the name of family turned into a tool for control. The LLCs, the land contracts, the joint investments, they weren't about unity. They were about power. Coyote Pass was supposed to be the family's promised land, but it's become a financial burden that nobody wants to touch. Taxes continue to build. The property sits empty, unused, and unsellable. The wives who once believed in Kody's vision have walked away, leaving him with nothing but paperwork and broken promises. Christine was the first to see the truth, that love shouldn't come with conditions and freedom shouldn't require permission. When she left, it wasn't just a breakup. It was a rebellion. Her courage exposed the weakness behind Kody's authority, and once she left, there was no going back. Janelle followed because she refused to keep sacrificing her future for a man who refused to see her worth. And then there was Mary, loyal, patient, endlessly forgiving. She waited for Kody to change, but he never did. When he finally admitted he no longer considered himself married to her, it wasn't heartbreak anymore. It was liberation. Now, with Christine, Janelle, and Mary gone, Kody's kingdom has fallen. The man who once stood at the center of 4 households now stands in silence beside Robyn, the only person left willing to call him a leader. But even she can't ignore the growing cracks. Their finances are strained. Their relationships with the older children are fractured. And the image of a strong, united couple is fading fast. The big house that once symbolized Robyn's victory now feels like a trap. The laughter is gone. The cameras have stopped rolling as often. The bills keep arriving, and the money isn't what it used to be. Without the show's steady income, the lifestyle they built is becoming impossible to maintain. Those who once believed in Kody's dream now see it for what it really was: a fantasy built on control and pride. He wasn't building a family. He was building an empire centered around himself. And when the wives stopped playing their roles, the empire crumbled. Every empire falls, and Kody's is no exception. What began as a story of love and faith has turned into a cautionary tale about greed, ego, and denial. And as the dust settles over Coyote Pass, it's clear that Kody Brown's greatest failure wasn't losing his wives. It was never understanding what family truly meant. As the financial dust settles, the emotional fallout begins, and it's even more devastating than the money troubles. The truth is, the real cost of Kody Brown's choices isn't measured in dollars or deeds. It's measured in the trust he's lost, the relationships he's broken, and the children who now see their father in a way they never did before. The kids grew up believing their family was different for the right reasons. They were taught that plural marriage meant love multiplied, not divided. But as they watched their mothers cry, argue, and finally walk away, they saw the truth. It wasn't about faith anymore. It was about control. Some of the older children have stopped speaking to Kody entirely. They've watched their mother struggle while he poured everything into protecting his life with Robyn. They saw the favoritism. They saw who mattered and who didn't. And now they're no longer afraid to say it out loud. The divide between Kody and his older kids isn't just a rift, but it's a canyon. Robyn, once seen as the innocent wife caught in the middle, can't escape the backlash anymore. The kids blame her for what's happened, for the way the family fell apart, for the way their father changed. And even if that's not entirely fair, perception has become reality. To them, Robyn isn't the victim anymore. She's the last piece of a system that broke everyone else. Inside that Flagstaff house, the atmosphere is tense. Kody and Robyn are trying to convince themselves that they've done the right thing, that the family fell apart because others didn't stay loyal, didn't stay faithful. But deep down, they know the truth. This isn't what they wanted. It's not what they planned. And it's not the legacy they thought they'd have. The silence between them is heavy. The once confident patriarch is now a man backed into a corner, his pride slowly turning into regret. The cameras that once captured his charisma now catch something different. Exhaustion, bitterness, and the faint realization that maybe, just maybe, he was wrong. Meanwhile, the wives he left behind are moving forward. Christine is glowing with happiness, building a life filled with love and laughter that has nothing to do with him. Janelle is standing tall, proud, and free, a woman who found peace and independence. Even Mary, after years of rejection, has finally rediscovered her strength. They've all proven something that Kody never expected, that life without him is not only possible, it's better. And that might be the hardest truth for him to face. Because without the control, without the wives orbiting around him, Kody has to face himself. And for the first time in decades, there's nowhere left to hide. Coyote Pass still sits there, barren and lifeless, a monument to everything that went wrong. The land that was supposed to bring them together has become a reminder of everything that tore them apart. As the sun sets over that empty property, you can almost feel the ghosts of promises broken and dreams abandoned. This was supposed to be the place where they'd grow old together, surrounded by family and faith. Instead, it's where Kody's story turned from leadership to loss. And maybe that's the perfect ending. Not the ending he wanted, but the one he earned. Because in the end, the true legacy of the Brown family isn't Coyote Pass or television fame. It's the strength of the women who walked away and the truth that finally came to light. The story of Kody Brown doesn't end with a grand finale or a dramatic reunion. It ends in silence, the kind that comes after years of noise, chaos, and denial. The kingdom he built has fallen, not with fire, but with exhaustion. The wives are gone, the children have grown, and the man who once commanded a family of 20 now stands alone, surrounded by the ruins of his own creation. For decades, Kody believed he was chosen, that he was leading a family guided by divine purpose. But somewhere along the way, that purpose turned into pride. What began as a promise of equality became a structure of control. Every rule, every decision, every speech about leadership was another brick in the wall that separated him from the people he claimed to love. Robyn was the last one left standing beside him, and even she looks tired now. The dream home she once called her safe haven has become a fortress, one built to keep the world out and the truth in. The laughter of children that once filled those halls has faded, replaced by tension, uncertainty, and quiet regret. There are moments when Kody still tries to justify it all, the choices, the sacrifices, the losses. He tells himself he did what he had to do, that the others simply didn't understand his vision. But deep down he knows that's not true. He knows the wives didn't leave because they stopped believing in family. They left because they stopped believing in him. Christine found joy in a life that's honest and peaceful. Janelle discovered strength in standing on her own. Mary learned that love isn't about waiting for someone to change. They each walked away carrying their scars, but they also carried their freedom. And for the first time in years, they're smiling again. Not for the cameras, but for themselves. Meanwhile, Kody and Robyn are learning what happens when the cameras stop rolling and the audience moves on. The show gave them fame, but it also exposed them. It showed the world what happens when love turns into power and faith becomes a weapon. And now, without the distraction of a television spotlight, they have to face the reality they created. Coyote Pass still stands dry and empty, a symbol of everything they lost. The dream that once held a family together now lies buried beneath Arizona dust. The land is silent, the fence is unfinished, the promise is broken. It's not a legacy, it's a reminder. Kody once said he wanted his family to live in harmony forever, to create something that would outlast him. And in a way, he did, just not how he expected. Because what will outlast him isn't the land or the show or the illusion of unity. It's the strength of the women who found the courage to walk away. In the end, the empire he built was never about faith. It was about fear. Fear of losing control, fear of being alone, fear of facing who he really is without the power he once had. And now that fear has become his reality. As the sun sets over Coyote Pass for the final time, one truth becomes crystal clear. Kody Brown didn't just lose his wives. He lost his purpose. And the story that began with the promise of eternal love ends with the quiet, undeniable truth that no one can lead a family built on control. Because love isn't owned, it's earned. And Kody Brown finally learned that too late.